Welcome to my YouTube channel, everyone. Today we're doing a retrospective on G-Darius, a horizontal shooter game released in the Japanese arcades in 1997 by Taito and later ported to the PS1 by THQ for North America and Europe in 1998. And of course, the PS1 port is going to be the one that we'll be talking about in this episode. So back in 1998, I think I was something like 12 years old. I remember I borrowed some demo discs from a classmate, and those demos had games like Dynasty Warriors, Ninja Shadow of Darkness, Tombi, and of course G-Darius. And back then I wasn't like a big fan of shooter games. I was more into fighting and adventure games, but I remember I really liked G-Darius. I thought the design and the aesthetic was really cool. Unfortunately, I didn't have the chance to play this game again ever since 1998. I was actually looking for this game like for 25 years because I didn't remember the name. All I could remember was like this giant fish robot boss fight, but that wasn't really helpful with finding this game. But luckily, I recently discovered this game in a YouTube video, and so I just wrote down the name and ordered it from CEX, and here we are. First thing I gotta say is that it really felt surreal, playing this game after so many years and confirming to myself that this game actually existed, and it wasn't a dream. So apparently, G-Darius is the first in the Darius series that has 3D graphics, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I just love the polygons and the blocky graphics of the 5th gen 3D games. I think the game has a fantastic stage design. It looks very alien and futuristic with a lot of anime vibe going on, and I think the 3D rendering really gives the world some depth. I also like how the tracks take you like underwater or high to the sky. I think those things really make the game very interesting visually. And of course, I also like that each level has like its own visual theme, We have alien planets, futuristic cities, outer space. The game is really visually rich in my opinion. So like overall, I never get bored looking at this game. The music is very weird and spacey, it's something you'd hear in a sci-fi and space opera TV series. It blends well with the visuals and gives the game a vibe and a personality, but there is not a single memorable track in G-Darius, and it doesn't help that you can barely hear the music with all the shooting sound effects. It really is the definition of background music. You can't really listen to it outside of the game's context. So personally, I would maybe use the sounds and melody ideas to create like more memorable tracks that would elevate the game to the max. But as it is, the music in G-Darius is not the game's strongest point. But the rest of the sound effects are actually really good, and very satisfying, I think. In terms of gameplay, I would categorize G-Darius as a 2.5D game, just like the Pandemonium games. Because basically we have 3D graphics and 2D gameplay. G-Darius obviously is a horizontal shooter game where you operate a spacecraft called the Silverhawk. And your mission is of course to destroy the enemy base called Kazun, which is like a satellite on the planet Darius. The main enemy is called Thema, and the game has like a very elaborate space opera story, which to be honest, I'm not very interested in. But yeah, the gameplay is very arcadey and designed to make you lose. Some enemy fire is like impossible to evade. The arcade mode is particularly difficult. Like there are some parts, especially during the boss fights, where it's absolutely impossible to stay alive. Unless you know like every enemy attack pattern by heart. I just wish there was like a cheat code for unlimited lives or something, or maybe if it was a bit easier, I think it would have made the arcade mode a bit more enjoyable. But there's also the beginner's mode, which is actually really easy because unlike the arcade mode, here you have unlimited lives, like unlimited continues. And here you can also have like really strong weapons, which makes the gameplay a lot juicier. Most of the gameplay you're watching right now is actually from the beginner's mode. And lastly, we have the VS boss mode, where you basically need to defeat all the bosses. And if you face them in the arcade mode, the bosses are ridiculously difficult. But here and in the beginner's mode, the unlimited lives and the stronger ammo make it a lot easier to beat them. And a lot more fun for me personally. There are different power-ups that you can equip in G-Darius that come in the forms of colorful orbs, and those would usually either enhance your ammo or shields. Now, what's interesting about this game is that you can capture the enemy ships and get access to their weapons and shields. You can also detonate them, creating like an explosion around you that destroys all the enemies. Or you can use them to shoot an alpha beam, which is like a super powerful laser beam that destroys everything on your way. And you can also use the alpha beam to counter the enemy's beta beams. So like capturing the enemy ships and using them in these ways is what makes this game really fun, in my opinion. Not to mention that it's really helpful too. Another interesting thing about G-Darius is that you can choose different paths to take. Small note here, every path is named after the Greek alphabet letter. But yeah, different paths will lead you to discover different levels, and each of the levels is divided into two different areas. Basically, when you see a horizontal green line dividing the screen, that's when you can choose which area you want to proceed to. Also, different paths will result in different endings, so there's like a lot to explore in this game, which I think really adds to its replayability value. So G-Darius is like a very well hidden PS1 gem. It has beautiful graphics and presentation and really fun gameplay, in my opinion. I'm sure the retro game enthusiasts will just love it, you know, because it has that savory retro pickled flavor, you know. I'm really happy that I found this game after so many years, and I really enjoyed playing it. And actually it made me interested in checking out other similar shooting games, so we'll see what I'll discover. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out my channel, and until next time.